All right, Game Lab number 24 is all about creating a program that has a scoreboard in it. And I would suggest that you edit the program that I have provided. I already posted up some code that you can use for this, so that's what I would do if I were you. Everything is kind of outlined right here, the things that you have to do to the scoreboard program, to make the scoreboard program. And this handout is posted on Google Classroom. So this is available for you if you need it. But what I'm going to do, as always, I'm going to go here to, let's see, I'll use, I'll use 6th hour as my demo, and I'll go to classwork. And this is actually the Monday assignment, all right? So catch up on it, as quickly as you can. And right here's the code. It says scoreboard number 1. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And when it opens up, I'll have to do a view code. And when I get to code.org, of course, I will have to do a remix. And I like to do rename. And I'm just going to call this Scoreboard 1 Movie Demo. All right. Let's see what we have already. I'm going to make this. Can I make this a little bit bigger? No, I cannot. All right. So I'm going to run this. And this program right now, the monster is controlled by the arrow keys on your keyboard, up, down, right, left. And every time the monster touches the apple relocates in a random position. And this should look familiar. It was in another assignment from last week, from not too long ago. Anyway, so that's what we've got right now. Now, what we want to do is do the additions to this program so that every time the monster touches the apple, it gets a point, right? There's a score. We're going to keep score. We're going to keep like track of points. And so every time the monster touches an apple, every time it catches an apple, it gets a point. Yay. Okay. But the other thing we have to do is make it show up. It's not enough just to count it. You have to actually make it show up on the screen. So there are 3 things that you have to do, and here they come. The first one is going to happen right here around, actually I'm going to stick it in like at line number 9 or around there someplace. I put a comment here for you. You have to create a variable for score and set it to 0. What's that look like? Okay, well it looks like this. Go to the variable drawer. When you are creating a variable or declaring a variable, you have to use the var command just when you're creating it. So I'm going to bring this over and I'm going to drop it right here after that comment. Put it right there. Now the variable needs a name. I'm going to use this. I'm going to say score, except I cannot type, of course. There we go. I'm going to call it score. You could call it points, total, tally. I don't know. You just have to call it something, but I'm going to call it score. And I'm going to set it equal to 0. At the beginning of the game, my score is 0. So that's how we start. So right here I'm going to make a var command, and notice where it is. It's not in it's above the function draw. It's above the draw loop, and it's just creating the variable. That's all it's doing. All right, now we're going to scroll this down. And down here right now it's sitting at line 34 on this program. It says there's another comment down here that says, because here's what we've got. This is inside an if block that says if the monster is touching the apple. Okay. Well, one thing's already happening if the monster is touching the apple. The apple is getting relocated into a new random position, the X and the Y. That's already set up. That part's already done. But now we have to do this. We have to put in a command that will increase the value of the score. Right now the score is equal to 0. But if the monster touches an apple, I want to bump that up. It's got to be 1, right? It's got to go up to 1. All right. Well, that's going to involve this command right here. It's not the var command. Do not use the one that says var. Don't use that one. Use this one, x equals. It just says x equal and has a blank right there. So I'm going to bring that over and I'm going to drop it in right there below that comment. Increase the value of the score by 1. Now, here's what that looks like. I'm just going to put score in there, and I'm using that word. I'm using score because that's what I called my variable back up there at line 9. So I'm going to say score equal, and I'll hop over here. Now, the way you translate that into English, right, and we've done this before, We've done similar things to this. The way you translate that into English, score equals score plus 1, that just means, okay, take the value of the score and add 1 to it. Just bump it up by 1. Score equals score plus 1. All right, so if the monster touches an apple, the score gets bumped up by 1. All right. Sorry. Now, one last thing. We're not done yet because I've set up the variable, and it is giving me points. If I reset and I run this, if the monster goes and touches the apple, oh, I just got a point. But what's the problem that we have here? Well, the problem that we have here is that it's not showing up. There's nothing on the game screen that's telling me what my score is, and that's a problem. I want to be able to see what my score is. So I'm going to take care of that. And that's going to be done with text commands. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to drawing. And the first thing I'm going to bring over is a fill color. And I'm going to drop this in. I put a comment down here. It's sitting at line 39 right now. I put a comment down here that says add commands to display the score. So I'm going to put this in, the fill color, and I'm going to make that black. But you can make it any color you want. The next thing I think I'll do is bring over a text size block. I would like to close that little reminder there. Text size, and I'm going to make it like 36. Except got to get my cursor in there. All right, there we go, 36. Text size 36, and make it whatever size you want, but to begin with, it's going to be really small. By default, it's really small, so you may want to make it bigger. Now, this is an optional thing. You don't have to do this, but I'm going to bring over that text font thing, and I'm going to use the cursive setting. It's a font family. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. Now, here's the last thing that I need to do. I'm going to bring over the one that says text string and X and Y. This is the one that's actually going to show the score. Now, here comes a trick that is a weird trick, but we're going to use it again in the next lesson, and it's going to come up in future lessons. So watch this. Watch this. And later when you're working on yours, pause the movie and look at this if you need to. Okay. So this is going to look weird. I'm going to go to the math drawer and I'm going to grab a plus block, a plus operator, an add operator, and I'm going to drop it in that first hole. Now take a look at that. Why in the world would you put a math operator inside a text command? That just seems weird. But here's it's called, there's a big fancy name for it. It's called concatenating. Here's what I'm going to do. In the first hole, I'm going to put a quotation mark. I'm going to put the word score, colon. I'm going to leave a space there, and I'll put another quote. Now, remember, if you put something inside quotes, then exactly what you type inside the quotes is exactly what's going to appear on your game screen. All right? Now, in the other hole, I'm going to hop over there, and I'm going to put the word score like that, but with no quotes. So here's what that does. That's going to be the variable. Do you remember that up here at line number 9, I created a variable called score, which is equal to 0. And here at line number 35, I was always increasing the value of the score. Every time the monster touches an apple, score gets increased by 1. So here, I want this text thing to say the word score, and then right next to it, give me the value. What is the score right now? How many points do I have? And that's what that's going to do. That's a variable right there. This is text. This is a variable. All right, this is in quotes. This is not in quotes. And that makes all the difference in the world. Quotation marks over here. No quotation marks over here. Now, this is just X and Y. Where do you want your scoreboard? I kind of want mine kind of top leftish, so I'm just going to go over about 50 for the X and down about, 40 for the Y. I'm going to try that. I don't know if that's right, but I'm going to try it and see how I do. That's a guess. All right, well, I think it's time to come over here and reset this and run it. And you see, oh, look up there, look. It says score 0 on my game screen. That's good. That's a good way to start. And then if my monster comes over and oh, look, it's up to look. Every time the monster touches the apple, the score gets updated. Yay. Look at that. And this is the assignment of the day. If you can manage to get an operating scoreboard, that's what that is, right? That's like a score tracker. It's a scoreboard. And every time the monster touches an apple, I get another point. So use this movie to help you, right? There's not that much you have to do. You have to create the variable. I did that up here at line 9. I have to set up the part inside the if block where if monster is touching apple, I have to do this. This score equals score plus 1. That gives me a point every time the monster catches an apple. And then I had to put together my combination of things down here, which would display the score. So that is it. That's the assignment. Off you go.